My wife died 3 years ago. Last night, I woke up to her humming in the kitchen. I missed you, she whispered, but her voice was off. I reached for my phone to call my brother, but there was already a text from him that said, "Do not speak to her. Do not look at her. It's not her." My heart pounded as she slowly turned around and said, "I never thought I'd be the kind of person to post something like this. I've read stories here before, always with a healthy dose of skepticism. But now, something has happened that I can't explain, and I need to share it. My wife, Sarah, passed away 3 years ago. It was sudden, a car accident on a rainy night in Oregon. She was on her way home from visiting her sister in Portland when another driver lost control and hit her head-on. She died instantly. The grief was overwhelming. I moved to a small town near the Oregon vortex, hoping the change of scenery would help me heal. Last night, I woke up around 2:30 a.m. I couldn't pinpoint what had stirred me, but the house felt off. As I lay there, trying to drift back to sleep, I heard humming coming from the kitchen. It was a soft, melodic tune, one that Sarah used to hum while cooking. My heart raced. I thought I was dreaming, but the sound was too clear, too real. I got out of bed and walked towards the kitchen. The humming grew louder. As I approached, I could see a figure standing by the stove. It was Sarah. She looked just as she did the day she died, wearing her favorite blue sweater. She turned to me and whispered, "I missed you." But her voice, it was off. It sounded distorted, like multiple voices speaking in unison. Panicked, I reached for my phone to call my brother. Before I could dial, I saw a text from him, "Do not speak to her. Do not look at her. It's not her." My hands trembled as I read the message. When I looked up, Sarah's eyes were pitch black, and her smile stretched unnaturally wide. I ran back to my bedroom and locked the door. The humming continued for hours, growing louder and more discordant. Eventually, it stopped. When I emerged in the morning, the kitchen was empty, but the air felt heavy, oppressive. I don't know what I saw last night, but I know it wasn't Sarah. I'm terrified to sleep tonight. Has anyone experienced something similar? Any advice would be appreciated. I didn't go to work the next day. I called in sick, which was a lie, but what was I supposed to tell them? "Hey, I think my dead wife came back from the grave and hummed in my kitchen all night." No one would believe me. Hell, I barely believed it myself. Instead, I sat in the living room all day, curtains drawn, lights on. I didn't leave the house. Every small creak or groan the wood made had my heart jumping. My dog, Benny, a mutt with more anxiety than loyalty, wouldn't go near the kitchen. He just sat by the back door, whining low, tail between his legs. That alone told me I wasn't crazy. By late afternoon, I finally called my brother. "Did you see her?" he asked, voice tight, no greeting, nothing. "Yes," I whispered. "How the hell did you know?" There was a pause. I could hear him breathing on the other end. "You weren't supposed to see her yet." "What does that mean?" I asked. "What the hell is going on?" "I don't know everything," he said. "But after Sarah died, things started happening to me, too. Dreams, mostly. But they felt real. She would come to me, always humming. At first I thought it was grief. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to scare you. But then I started seeing her. Not her exactly, but something using her face. A cold shiver ran down my spine. So what is it?" "She's not alone," he said, voice lower now. "There's something else. Something that followed her death." I didn't know what to say. The silence on the phone felt thick. Heavy. "You need to leave the house," he said. "Now. Stay with me, or a friend. Just don't stay there tonight." But I didn't leave. Maybe it was denial. Maybe it was guilt. But a part of me needed to know. I needed to see her again. Needed to understand. So I stayed. That night, I set up cameras around the house. One in the kitchen. One in the hallway. One facing the front door. I figured if I was going crazy, I'd want proof of it. The house stayed silent most of the night. Nothing happened for hours. Benny finally fell asleep on the rug near my bed, twitching a little but calm. Then, around 3:17 a.m., the humming started again. Soft at first. Almost sad. But then it warped, too many notes, out of rhythm. Like someone pretending to be human and failing. I sat up slowly. I didn't want to look, but I had to. I grabbed the small monitor I'd hooked the cameras to. The kitchen camera was showing her. She was just standing there, facing the wall. Humming. But that wasn't the worst part. The hallway camera blinked. Then blinked again. Then, black. When it came back on, there was something crawling on the ceiling. Not Sarah. Not human. It was pale, with limbs too long, too thin. It had no face. Just a mouth, stretched wide, full of teeth that didn't belong. It crawled like a spider, but faster. The camera glitched and froze. I slammed the monitor down, heart pounding. And then my bedroom door creaked. Very slowly. Benny growled. A low, guttural sound I'd never heard from him before. The door inched open further, and I swear I saw fingers, long, thin fingers, curl around the edge of the doorframe. I didn't wait. I grabbed Benny, bolted out the window, and ran. I didn't stop running until I reached the gas station 2 miles down the road. I must have looked insane, barefoot, in pajamas, carrying a shaking dog. The clerk didn't ask questions. He just handed me a bottle of water and let me sit in the back room. I stayed there until morning. The next day, I went back to the house. I had to. I needed answers. The place looked fine. Clean. Normal. But when I checked the cameras, all the footage was gone. Except one still image. Sarah, standing in the kitchen, eyes completely black, smiling at the camera. And behind her, something crouched in the dark, too tall to be inside a house, too wide to be real. All you could see were teeth. Rows and rows of teeth. I emailed it to my brother. He called me 30 seconds later. You need to get the house blessed, he said. Or burned. I asked him, what is that thing? I don't know, he said. But it's wearing her. And it wants in. I haven't slept since. It's not just the house anymore. Wherever I go, I hear the humming. Sometimes soft, sometimes right behind me. And every now and then, I see her in reflections, mirrors, windows, even puddles. She's always smiling. And she always whispers the same thing. I missed you. But her voice, it's never quite hers. And last night, she wasn't alone. Something else was humming with her. A deeper sound, like growling mixed with static. A voice layered under her song, dragging behind every note like something being pulled through wet gravel. I'm writing this because I don't know how much longer I have before whatever this is decides it doesn't want to wait anymore. I'll keep updating. If you don't hear from me, well, maybe don't come looking. Just don't answer if she knocks. I tried to leave town. That was the next step. I figured I could outrun this thing, her, whatever it was. Maybe it was tied to the house. Maybe it couldn't follow. I packed what I could into the back of my SUV, loaded Benny into the passenger seat, and headed south on I-5. No destination, just away. But 40 minutes out, the radio started playing static. I hadn't even turned it on. I reached to shut it off, but it wouldn't turn off. No volume control, no power button response. Just loud, crackling static. Then, under the static, I heard humming. My chest tightened. Benny whined and tried to crawl into the footwell under the dashboard. I turned off onto the first exit I could find, drove into a rundown diner's parking lot and killed the engine. The static stopped immediately. I sat there in silence, sweating, trying to collect myself. The humming was gone, and the world was quiet again. Too quiet. No cars passing, no birds. Even the wind had stopped. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. One new message. I said, "Don't leave." The air in the SUV turned ice cold. My breath fogged the windshield. Benny was shaking so hard I could hear his tags jingling. I looked around. The lot was empty. But I knew, somehow, I wasn't alone. I didn't go back home. I ended up checking into a roadside motel 20 miles away. I used a fake name. Cash only. I didn't want her, or it, to find me. But that night, as I stood brushing my teeth in the motel bathroom, something happened that I can't explain. I turned off the tap. The hum of the motel AC buzzed softly through the wall. I bent down to rinse my mouth. When I looked up, my reflection didn't move. It just stood there, toothbrush in hand, staring at me with a twisted smile. And then, slowly, it raised its free hand and waved. I stumbled backward, slamming into the door. Benny barked, feral, wild. And the reflection whispered, lips barely moving, "You're getting tired. You can't keep running." I left that motel that night. I didn't sleep. I drove until sunrise, pulling over only when I was sure I was going to crash from exhaustion. I parked at a rest stop, cracked the window, and passed out in the front seat. That's when the dreams started. I say, dreams, because I don't know what else to call them. But they feel real, too real. In them, I'm back in the kitchen. She's cooking. Bacon. Eggs. Coffee on the pot. Just like a normal Saturday morning. But everything is off. The bacon sizzles too loudly. The coffee bubbles red. The eggs pulse on the plate like they're alive. And her face never turns all the way toward me. Just slightly, always slightly off-center. Like something wearing her skin is afraid the mask will slip. She speaks in riddles now. Last night, she said, "What's heavier than death, but fits in your pocket?" When I didn't answer, she looked at me and her mouth split open sideways, ear to ear. From inside, something crawled out. Not a bug. Not a rat. Something, like a hand. Thin. Ashy. Nails like splinters. It reached for me and, I woke up screaming in the car, covered in sweat, Benny barking like crazy. But the scariest part? There was an eggshell on the dashboard. I hadn't eaten. I hadn't stopped. I hadn't brought any food with me. It was just, there. When I told my brother, he was quiet for a long time. Then he finally said, "There's an old woman near Crater Lake. Lives alone. People say she knows about things. She helped me once. You might try her." So I went. Her house was deep in the woods, off an unmarked dirt road. No signs. No neighbors. I wouldn't have found it if my brother hadn't sent me GPS coordinates. She answered the door like she was expecting me. "Too late," she said, before I even opened my mouth. I begged her to explain. She let me in. Inside smelled like herbs and something else, something metallic. She sat me down, poured me tea that tasted like tree bark and ashes. Then she told me something I'll never forget. She was marked. The night she died, something noticed. Something hungry. It took her face because you loved her. It follows love. It mimics grief. I asked her what it wanted from me. She just looked at me, eyes dull, and said, to wear you. And then find someone new to love it. I asked how to stop it. She said, you don't. But you can hide. For a while. You must unlove her. Forget the sound of her voice. Forget her laugh. Forget her name. Or it'll never stop looking for you. I told her that wasn't possible. I still dreamed of Sarah almost every night. I still had her photos on my phone. She stood up, went into another room, and came back with a box. Inside was a small mirror. The glass was black, not silver. Look in this, she said. If you see her, speak her name. 3 times. I hesitated. She shoved it into my hands. You don't have much time. So that night, back in a cabin she let me borrow, I looked into the mirror. The surface stayed black for a long time. I thought maybe it was broken. But then, slowly, her face appeared. Almost perfect. Almost. I opened my mouth to speak. Then she blinked, and her eyes rolled completely back, whites flooding out like milk. And in a voice that was part scream, part song, part something else entirely, she said, you remember me too well. I dropped the mirror. It didn't break. But when I picked it up, it was my own face now. Smiling. And in the reflection, my mouth moved on its own and whispered, she's inside you now. I don't know what that means. But I think she's getting stronger. I left the cabin that same night. Didn't bother saying goodbye to the old woman. Didn't sleep. Didn't eat. I just drove. Something felt wrong in my body. Like I wasn't alone in it anymore. Like there was another set of thoughts, just beneath my own, whispering things I couldn't quite catch. My fingers twitched on their own sometimes. My reflection smiled when I didn't. I stopped seeing Sarah. And started seeing me. Everywhere. In reflections. In my dreams. In photos I hadn't taken. Me, but off. Too many teeth. Eyes that didn't blink. Movements that weren't mine. It wasn't trying to scare me anymore. It was trying to be me. I think it's winning. I went back home. I know how stupid that sounds. But I had to face it. Whatever it is. I had to end it before it finished whatever it started. The house smelled like dust and old flowers. Benny wouldn't come inside. He stood at the threshold and whined, refusing to cross. That was fine. I didn't want him near what I was about to do. I went into the kitchen. The same kitchen where I saw her for the first time again. I stood there in the dark, heart pounding. Then I said her name. Once. Twice. 3 times. And the house breathed. I don't know how else to describe it. The walls pulsed. The floor seemed to shift beneath my feet. Every light in the house turned on at once, then died with a loud pop. Glass shattered. The air turned thick like syrup. She appeared in front of me. Not Sarah. Not anymore. She was wearing her face, yes. Her sweater. Her hands. But wrong. Too tall. Too thin. Her face stretched unnaturally like a wax figure left too close to a fire. Her mouth opened too wide. Her voice was a sound I've never heard in this world, like broken music played backward and underwater. You said my name, she smiled. And then she stepped into me. I didn't mean like walked closer. I mean literally stepped into me. I felt her enter, like cold water running through every vein. I dropped to my knees. My body seized up. I screamed, but the scream came out laughing. I blacked out. When I woke up, I was in my backyard. The sky was red like sunset, but the sun wasn't up. The trees bent the wrong way. And the house was gone. Just a hole. An endless hole where it used to be. Benny was gone too. My phone. No service. But there was a mirror. Standing in the yard. On its own. I walked to it. And what I saw staring back wasn't me. It looked like me, but it smiled too much. Moved wrong. Tilted its head like a puppet learning emotions. Then it reached through the glass and touched me. Not the surface. It actually touched me. And in that moment, I knew, I was already gone. That thing, whatever it was, had me. My body. My voice. My memories. I was just a ghost now, walking beside myself. I don't remember getting back inside. But now I'm sitting here, typing this. The lights flicker sometimes. My fingers don't always stop when I tell them to. Sometimes I smile without meaning to. Sometimes I hear humming. And here's the part that should scare you the most, you're reading this. Which means I posted it. Which means maybe, you're next. Maybe that thing is already in your house. Maybe it's already wearing someone you love. Or maybe, it's watching you right now. Smiling. Humming. Waiting for you to remember someone who's gone. So it can wear their face. And knock on your door. And say, I missed you.